Thanks. A first alert update. New body cam video shows the moments leading up to the shooting of a pig in Door County. The Door County Sheriff's Office announcing today it completed the investigation into last Friday's incident. The Sheriff's Office says the videos show the complete incident. They want to dispel rumors that have been circulating online. In a release, deputies say several factors were taken into account, like the incident's proximity to the highway and the number of times that the pig ran into traffic on highways. The sheriff's office says it stands by the deputies' decision to shoot the pig, and they were completely within policy to do that. Release ends with a note saying the amount of death threats following the incident is completely unacceptable, and no further details will be released on the shooting. As we've reported, a local nonprofit called Saving Snout says the shooting was heartless and the pig could have been tranquilized and secured instead of being shot.